You are listening to Small Business Straight Talk with your host, Amber De La Garza. Amber is a sought-after coach, trainer, speaker, and writer who gives small business owners the straight talk on productivity, time management, business systems, leading your teams, strategic decision-making, and mindset. No BS, fluff, or overused jargon. Just actionable strategies to get results and succeed in business. And here is your host, Amber De La Garza, the productivity specialist.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Small Business Straight Talk podcast. Today is episode 385, Leveraging AI to Grow Your Business with Rick Mulready. If you're a small business owner who wants to learn effective business strategies, improve time management, and elevate productivity to maximize profits, reduce stress, and make time for what matters most, then you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you've joined me. I am looking forward to bringing this conversation with my guest, Rick Mulready, to you today. Rick has built his online coaching business to an aspirational 7-figure mark in 4 years. Started, hosted, and after 12 million plus downloads, sold a top-rated business podcast called The Art of Online Business. He spent his career coaching thousands of online course and membership creators and online coaches how to simplify complex business systems into simple actions, whether it is in their marketing, sales, fulfillment, or operations, so that they can make more while working less. But now he runs the AI Playbook community, where he teaches you how to apply AI in your business so that you can streamline and scale while working less. And to that point, you are going to hear all about my experience and Rick's experience inside the AI community and why he built it and what you could find in there, as well as some real conversations about the intersection between AI and business in today's conversation. But before we jump into that conversation, I want to invite you to join me inside the AI Playbook community. I've been a member for nearly 6 months, and it's been incredibly helpful in shortcutting my own AI journey and implementation in the business. There are so many practical resources and smart people in there. It's where I go to learn and get unstuck when, well, AI can be a little frustrating at times, but the upside is incredible for our businesses. I'm now choosing to be an affiliate for Rick's community because I truly believe in it. Whether you're just getting started with AI or you're more seasoned and looking to level up your knowledge and implementation, this is a great place to grow. You can find out more and join me inside the AI Playbook community at amberdelagarza.com/AI Playbook. I would so appreciate it if you would use my link to join the community. Again, that's amberdelagarza.com/AI Playbook. And now let's meet our guest and get to the straight talk. Rick, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Amber. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So I sent the message. I'm in your AI community. I've been getting support from you and your community all about AI in my own business. And I thought you'd be a great guest to talk all about AI in business today. Before we dive in that, I would love for you to share a little bit about your background. Maybe we didn't hear in your official bio, and what got you so excited to pivot your career into AI?
I was burned out from what I was doing. So I was, coaching online businesses in terms of growth and strategy and efficiency. And I've been doing it for so many years that 2023, I was burned out.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably burned out, if I'm being honest, for about a year. So I was kind of looking for something that energized me.
Yeah.
And I had at the time I had a mastermind. So I had a 12-month mastermind, and I remember distinctly. So ChatGPT became all the rage. It quote unquote came out to the public in December of 2022. And I remember a conversation happening with my mastermind in January of 2023. So like a month and a half later. And there were all these people. So Focus, was a real challenge for them, like most of us, right? Like
Yeah.
shiny objects. And a lot of them are talking about using ChatGPT to come up with ideas and so forth. And I hadn't gotten into it very much at that point. But I remember telling them, I said, don't get distracted by the shiny object that is this ChatGPT thing over here.
Yeah. Good
And
advice.
yeah, exactly. And so I mean, and most of them, like, yeah, it's true. But as I mean, literally over the next few weeks, I started learning more and more about it, the types of things that you could do with it. And then a buddy of mine started a peer mastermind with just some people that was all about AI. And so I joined it, and we just started talking more about it. And all of a sudden, the fire was reignited. And I was so excited about what was possible with AI. And that's when I made the decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pivot the business and shift. I'm going to take a little time off. I'm going to shift right into AI. I created what I call Pick Rick's Brain coaching AI. And this is 2 years ago. This is like almost 2.5 years ago from when we created it. But I took all, 10 years at that time of my coaching knowledge from over those years, and we consolidated and put it into a chatbot, essentially, so that because people are always like, oh, can I pick your brain? Can I take you to coffee, et cetera, et cetera? And I'm only one person. As much as I love talking about this, I was like, oh, I'm going to create this. And I'm going to sell this as a membership. And I just saw how the possibility with it. And
now that's like one piece of your membership, right? Like your program is so much more than that. And it started with that one resource.
I think it's probably, people use it, but it's probably one of the smallest things, I think. And that's intentional, right? But it's there if people want to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the more I get into it, and so then it was like, all right, well, it's basically a startup for me because I'm starting a new business. And it was, okay, what's my angle and all this? How am I going to approach it? And I've always had this, like, explaining complex things to people was always something, I don't know where it came from, but it was always something that I felt like I was pretty good at.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I've been serving the online business, community for years and years. I'm going to also continue to serve this audience, but from an AI perspective. And I started a YouTube channel because I've been podcasting for 11 years at that time. I sold the podcast. And so then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a community because I don't want to start a course because it's going to be outdated in 2 weeks.
That is a major challenge. I think that's probably still a challenge in the membership. I mean, you're putting out so many resources. And I was actually just thinking that, not to cut myself off or to cut you off, but like, how different, I'm so curious, how different is it 2 years later? Because I would not consider myself an early adopter on things. I'm like, we'll let somebody else figure out the bugs that has more patience than me and, or use cases. And I feel like I'm on the earlier side, but now that you said that was 2 years ago, I'm probably not on the earlier side. How much change have you seen in the last 2 years?
Yeah, it was, ChatGPT 3.0, then 3.5.
And now we won't even touch those, right? Yeah, we won't even touch those models.
Like, no way. I mean, they're so smart. They meaning the AI models. There's obviously a lot more. Google's Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's so many different models out there. And I would say a huge difference, in addition to them being so smart, they show their thinking, depending on what model you're using, they'll show their thinking. They're deeper. What they call reasoning is essentially there's so much going on in the back end of the AI model to give you the output for whatever it is that you're asking it to do. Yeah. And, a lot of people 2 years ago were just using it for basic stuff like, give me ideas, give me a blog post idea, or give me a title, or what have you. And I think early on, businesses were thinking like, oh, in order for me to win, I'm going to create the next model, meaning like another ChatGPT. And a lot of companies, though, at the same time, were building what I like to call, they were like skinning, if you will, like ChatGPT to do around some, like they were having it
Like
do
white
whatever
labeled.
it is,
Mm-hmm.
white labeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But the base of it, if you will, was ChatGPT. And early on, that was sort of like, that isn't going to last,
Mm.
But what's happened is like, people have realized that, we're not going to beat ChatGPT. You're not going to beat OpenAI. We're not going to beat Google. We're not going to beat, Anthropic for Claude, et cetera. So we're going to continue to build these tools that are wrapping around the technology of the AI model.
Yeah.
And that's really where, I mean, if you're starting a new company, or if you're thinking about, think about like, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, but in your business today, it's like, what are the big problems in the business that we can make easier with AI? And depending on what niche, I mean, you can create a full-on business with AI very quickly these days.
That's incredible.
And it's understanding like what is possible with it.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that, I don't think anything, like I look at it as like, that's very different from what it was 2 years ago.
Right. And would you consider yourself an early adopter in general, or this was just the thing that caught fire for you?
I would say that I would consider, it's a good question. I would consider myself a cautious early adopter.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, like, more than on two hands here, the number of people that said, dude, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, you had this super successful business over here. Why are you leaving it? Why are you stopping it? AI is a flash in the pan. It's, it's a shiny object right now. What are you doing? Why are you shutting? Like, all that stuff. And all those people come back now and be like, oh, I get it. You just sort of saw it earlier.
Yep.
So I would say, yeah, I'm a cautious early adopter. I love new things. I mean, I'm no different than anybody. Like, I get distracted with the shiny objects and stuff like that. But it's just like, I like to take the time with it to see if it actually has utility in what I want to do.
Yeah. So it's not a flash in the pan. I don't think it's going anywhere. I do think, I was actually just talking to my son. He'll be 15 in a couple days. And I was explaining to him that AI is going to be what internet was to my generation. Like, I didn't get AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even get internet until maybe the last year of high school. And it wasn't like every home had it or anything like that. And we've been talking about how is his school or schools, I've been talking to some other parents too, are they like, no, it's bad? Or are they like embracing it and realizing like this is what's going to come? And I think that his school is missing a great opportunity. They talk about it a little bit, but more like trying to poke holes and tell you why it's not actually that good. Like, can you make AI agree that there's 5 P's in people? And I'm like, how is that an assignment in your computer science class? You guys are missing the buck, because he's going to go to college and come out of college. And I don't think there's going to be many career paths that won't be touched by AI. And for him, his generation.
I completely agree. Yeah. I agree. I 2 weeks ago, I did a presentation. So my daughter's in kindergarten, and they were doing this exercise where they called it, I think it was called Entrepreneur Week. And different parents who are entrepreneurs, came in and just spoke about different things. And so I went in there and talked about AI. And so I'm thinking, what does a 6-year-old want to see? Or what would be interesting to them? And like, I love that they're being at least introduced to it. I completely agree. It's if a school is, I mean, look, we can be afraid of something or think like, ooh, this is bad, quote unquote. But the reality is we've got to embrace it.
Yeah.
Because as businesses, like, if we're not embracing it, or as schools, if we're not embracing it, we will be left behind. Like, that is just the reality. Whether we like that reality or not is the reality.
I absolutely agree. And I think that the fear and, making a few assumptions, but that, they just think the kids are going to use it to cheat. And that's possible. But like, there's so many ways to cheat. Like, and then, okay, let them get creative with it. I'm not greenlighting cheating, but for that to be the reason you're saying no, there is so much critical thinking. You can learn to communicate better. Like I think about how I communicate with AI. It is
Yeah.
putting in the reps of getting so clear about how to ask something, to do something in such a to get the result you want. It
Yeah.
makes me a better leader when I'm talking to my team members. I'm like,
Totally.
details, slow it down, context matters, why matters, because
Yeah.
when you're talking to AI, you're like, oh, you instantly get that feedback of when I show up better communicating, I get better results. I don't know. I can
And
get
so,
fired up.
yeah,
I think there's so many real world skills that using AI is going to help the next generation of kids, much less what we're talking about today, our businesses.
totally. Yeah. I'm so glad you bring that up because as I'm sure you've heard in the community, I talk about it all the time. It's like, it sounds so easy, right? It sounds like such an easy skill, but it's actually really hard to be able to clearly communicate what it is that we want.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if we're an entrepreneur and we have people on our team, for example, it's kind of like, can't you just get that? Like, can't you just read my mind?
Yes.
It's like, no. And,
not
I
yet.
ran into this.
AI will say, not
exactly.
yet, Rick.
Exactly. I mean, I ran into this last night. I was adding something to my team scorecard, the business scorecard. And I knew what I wanted. And I had it started a little bit in Google Sheets, but I could not wrap my head around how do I exactly format this?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I can use Gemini right inside of Google Sheets to do that. But then I was like, well, I have to describe what it is that I want.
Right.
And it forces you, because people think like, oh, this is making us, AI is making us dumber, or AI is making us like not creative, or like, I think it's making us better at critical thinking.
I
like,
do
just
too,
like you just said.
100%.
Yeah. And so it forces you to, because if you know what you want it to do, great, but you have to be able to clearly articulate to AI what it is that you want.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, again, it's one of those skills that sounds easy to do, but I mean, in my experience and from what I've seen with all the students I've worked with, like, that's hard. It's hard to do.
You know that from all your business coaching. I know that from my coaching. That is a big roadblock or challenge for business owners to lead their team and to slow it down. And I think that's one of the most challenging things to adopting AI is just like when you're onboarding a team member, it takes slowing it down, articulating, teaching. Everything you would do to set up a team member for success is what in my experience, has had to happen to set up AI.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great way to think about it too. It's because people are like, well, where do I get started with AI and the business? And it's like, well, if you are bringing on a new hire or you're hiring an intern or what have you for the business, like, what do you want them to do?
Mm-hmm.
And what information are they going to need in order to do the job that you want them to do?
Yeah.
So just as an example, like random, like if you are a customer service person, well, what information are they going to need to know or have access to in order to be able to do customer service for your business? Well, they might need an FAQ document or something like that. They might need information about your product or your service. Yeah. Like how do you bill? How do you handle billing issues? What is your delivery time? Like any of that stuff. AI is the same way. If you want it to help you with that specific task, think about it from an actual person. Like, what directions would you give to that person? What information do they need? And you approach AI the same way.
Absolutely. So in addition to critical thinking, I think another skill set that it helps with is giving feedback. So
Yes.
I give feedback often to AI. In fact, I'm sure it's tired of me giving so much feedback because I naturally, and as a leader, it's interesting how I show up similar with AI as I do as a leader in my business is I'm very collaborative.
Yeah.
And that is what I like. It's what gives me ideas. It what gives me energy. And so everything that I'm doing in AI, I'm always giving instruction. I want this to be collaborative. Now, apparently collaborative is a subjective word. It's their version of taking over and my version of wanting to work together are different. And so you have to push back and you have to keep teaching and training it on what you're expecting in this. I hate to use the word, but it is a relationship back and forth to get that experience. So the feedback, being clear with the feedback, detailed and consistent with it.
Yeah. And that is something that I do not consider myself to be very good at. It's very, especially for example, when it comes to like image generation. Image generation with AI is not my strong suit. I know how to get there, but then, for example, giving it feedback, it's more like, I don't like that. And I like, you got to be more specific, but it's not very helpful.
Right.
But it is just like anything else, like you're saying, Amber, it's like, it's a skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that a lot of people forget, or really actually better way to put it is like, they don't realize that they can do that with AI. They think like, oh, this request I made or this prompt I just gave to ChatGPT didn't give me the output that I wanted to. Like, I don't like this, so I have to start all over again. Well, no, it's like, just start to iterate on, what it gave you and give it feedback. Like you just said, like, I don't align with whatever, And the cool thing is with ChatGPT, for example, if you're on a paid plan and you have then you have extended memory, which basically means that you can turn on that it remembers all your past chats. And so if you give normal feedback to ChatGPT and you find yourself doing it over and over, you can literally tell it, remember this writing style or this tone or this format or this structure or what have you.
Yeah.
And it will remember that. And so it will get easier as the more that you use it, because it's remembering that, like, oh yeah, it's not remembering your name, but it's like, oh yeah, Amber told me, X, Y, and Z. So the next time that you do that, hopefully you shouldn't experience like as much back and forth.
Yep.
So because it's getting smarter and smarter and thus getting easier and thus taking you less time to do something.
Right. So perception is reality. And this just rolled out within the last several weeks.
Yep.
And I saw a huge change in my perception of how smart I thought AI was, right? It didn't change. It's just as smart. But now it's prioritizing the feedback and the context of all the other chats. And my experience is less feedback. My experience is we're not starting from almost the beginning with each individual chat.
Exactly.
Huge change with that experience. So when I actually did an episode and I shared all the hesitations of why I didn't pull the trigger on AI. And I shared my journey of how I started adopting it and what that looked like. And one of the things was I thought it was a cheat code. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have been further wrong from that. When you were sharing your story and experience at the beginning of being burnt out and being lit on fire, I felt the same way. Now, I wasn't burnt out on my business, but I was humming along in marketing. I was humming along on the podcast. And then I got into AI and I felt like I was using so much more of my brain, so much like I felt like I was able to rapidly take action on ideas. I was able to expand my ideas. Everything about it became more exciting. And I would never call it a cheat code. I would call it the best leveraged asset. All the assets from, podcasting since 2017, being in business for almost 15 years. I'm like, that was collecting dust. This is amazing. No cheat code. It's literally fueling the experience inside AI.
Yeah. If somebody is like doing a podcast like this or doing a YouTube video or what have you, take the transcript and think about how long it would take you a couple of years ago to be able to say, okay, I want to market this podcast or I want to market this YouTube video on social media. I want to put it on LinkedIn. I want to put it on whatever, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. Like that's going to take you a long time to do that, right? AI can literally do that in a matter of, I dare say minutes. We're talking single digit minutes. Take one piece and turn it into 17 pieces of repurposable content. That's just one small basic, usage of, like you're talking about leveraging AI. to get more done in less time, which is only in turn is going to help you.
Yeah.
Because you're able to market, your business and your content even further.
So I had to balance the excitement of new ideas versus first starting out with things that gave us the biggest ROI of using AI in the business of the things we're doing. We're doing on repeat, we have post-production, we have the podcast, we have weekly emails, we have things like that. Okay, what pieces, how can we leverage AI so that myself and the team get reclaimed time to then play?
Yes.
I want to call it perfect play, right? AI playbook. But to go then play with these new ideas, because I mean, my parking lot of ideas of what I want to do with AI is like getting so long. And I had to stay disciplined to say, okay, stay the course, create more efficiency in the business, get back more time. Then we'll take that time and then go expand and play. And that's where we're at. I'm like, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can't wait until we've, really integrated AI with all the standard stuff.
I love that approach because it's so easy to get distracted with the shiny new things, or you hear about this new tool, like, there's 80 tools that come out every single day, it seems like, right? And like, ooh, I like that thing, I'm going to go try that out. And then, it's like, well, you took the eye off the ball of like, all right, first, make your business more streamlined, more efficient. Look at different ways that you can make things easier and save yourself time and money. Because when you learn those things, that's going to open up new ideas, just like you're talking about. It's going to open up ideas like, ooh, I didn't even think I could do that for this thing over here, or I want to try this for, whatever, a new offer or whatever it might be.
Right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So to your point, there is so much information coming in, right? Like, I watch your videos. That's how actually I found you. I listened to you on Amy Porterfield's podcast. Then I started watching videos. I watch other videos, your newsletters. You hear your friends talking, to your point, peers are talking about, friends are talking about, clients talk to you about it. And you're like, where do I start? Like, and what would be your recommendation of like you just want to get your hands wrapped around what AI is? Like maybe someone's listening to this and they're like, I've heard that word 1,000 times. I actually have not sat down and had, I would say, a conversation, but I haven't had a chat with ChatGPT or Claude or any of them. Where do they start?
I mean, I would start with, the one that everybody knows is ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Well, most people know. And even, by the way, just to speak to your point earlier about am I an early adopter, meaning you, like even to everybody listening right now, if you're getting on the AI board, you're an early adopter.
Okay.
Like
good to know it.
So early. It is so early.
I agree.
In this game. So you are not behind. But yeah, I would start with ChatGPT. If I would do the $20 a month plan, because you can get the free plan, you can pay $20 a month, you can pay $200 a month. Start with a $20 a month plan, and literally take 20 minutes every day, and play with it. Like you said, like have a conversation with it, have a chat with it. Don't think you have to get fancy with the prompts or anything like that, but start playing around with it and just ask it to do different things, and you'll start to learn just by doing that.
I agree. I think that it's learning you and you're learning it. It really is just starting the conversation in a non-high risk way. Like there's no actual output it has to have. You're giving yourself permission to just get in there and play.
Yeah.
I agree with paying, because another reason why I was hesitant, and I think this might be for a lot of other business owners, is you don't want it to take all your information. So you get some privacy around when you do the paid subscription, that they're not going to use your information for their learning models.
Yeah. You can turn that on, turn that off. If people are using Claude, which is another AI model, it's off by default. But with ChatGPT, you have that option. You can turn it on, turn it off. And they basically, I forget the exact wording that they have, but it's basically like, are you allowing us to use your chats to train our model?
Yeah.
Which basically means whatever you put in there is going to be used to train their model. If you want to turn that off, like I have that turned off, it's just a little toggle switch.
Yep.
And, even with that, I would caution, there's one of my early mentors in AI. She used to say, if you're not willing to post something on Reddit, don't put it into AI.
That is really good
And
advice.
yeah, and I read I saw somebody on Instagram the other day. They said something similar, but they were like, if you don't want anything on the front page of the New York Times, don't put it into AI.
Yeah.
But so we can do what we can in terms of turning off, like the training of the models and stuff like that. But yeah, just start playing around with it. Like, depending on, whatever your business is, think about like, oh, I'm going to bring an intern on to the business and I want them to do X.
Mm-hmm.
Like, start talking to ChatGPT and say, I want you to, whatever you're going to have the intern do. And I would say, what information do you need from me in order to do that task? And how do I tell you to do that? How do I best tell you to do that?
Yeah, that I want to highlight that and double down on that, is that it is okay to ask, what do you need from me? Do you have any further questions so that you can give me the best answer possible?
Exactly.
Yep. One of the phrases I find myself using quite a bit is, we're getting off track here. What do you need from me to get back on track to get XYZ result?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
It will say, you're right. I apologize. You're right. And sometimes it doesn't tell me how to get back on track, but that's enough of a nudge to get it back on track. And sometimes it will say, oh, well, I thought we were going in this direction. Is that not correct? Please tell me what you would like. Just like you would kind of talk to a team member you're like, this one-on-one conversation is going in the wrong direction. What do we need to do to get back on track?
Yeah. Yeah. You could, think like, you just be like, I want you to do a competitive analysis for me. Mm-hmm. Can you help me? Like, literally, you could just ask it that.
Yeah.
And so ideally, it should say, sure, what is your business? So it'll ask you the necessary information. Or you could just say, this is my business. Can you please do a competitor analysis for me?
Yep.
And cite your sources. And we'll do all that like very quickly. And it will give you the sources of where it's getting that information. I think that's a really important thing, especially for service businesses. If you're using it for anybody, frankly, using AI to do any kind of research, make sure that it's giving you ask it to cite its sources, because, this term hallucination, making stuff up, it's a real thing, right? So when you are asking it for its sources, then you can check the work that it's doing. Yeah. But that's just a simple little thing to see, like, oh, what will this spit out for me? Yeah. Doing a competitive analysis. Oh, I never even, and then you can be like, oh, cool. What's, Then
you refine and get more detailed with the questions from there. So I use ChatGPT, I use Claude, and I use Grok. And Grok I use for personal stuff, like more like online personal stuff. And I had asked it to collect some information and give me pretty much a summary. And because I didn't say specifically that's it decided to give me its opinion on stuff. But it was sourcing things from X. And I literally wrote back, I did not ask for your opinion based on X posts that are not factual, but thank you. Can you just give me a summary of this, this, and this? And it saved it. Like, I don't know if it has memory either, but it was clear that it made so many assumptions. But look, as leaders, we have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
I did not give it that clear of direction. It was saying, I want to do the best job for you. So I'm going to give you pros and cons, and I'm going to go get these resources. And because I did not give the container, I wasn't getting what I wanted. And I can only be frustrated with myself because I didn't give it all those details.
It's such a great point. It's that I love the word that you just used, container. Like, AI does really well within specific guardrails, if you will. So keep it in the container of what exactly is that you're looking for. Give it the context if necessary. So going back to, let's just say you want to use AI for onboarding new people into your business. Well, you likely have a company handbook. Just making this up. Maybe you have a company handbook. So you give that to AI so that it can create a plan for you for onboarding. So you give it your company handbook and the job description of the person that you just, so that's context.
Yes.
And then AI also loves examples. So examples of what it is that you're looking for. So you could have seen something, Amber, you're like, oh, I saw this and I love the overview it gave for this person. I'm just making this up. So you could like copy it, take a screenshot of it or whatever. You could have put it into Grok and said, look, I want you to do this for me and give it some parameters and let it go. But you saw that it went off the rails a little bit, right? And you're like, oh, I didn't give you quote permission to do that. Come back. Whereas, for everybody listening, watch, have the wherewithal to do that.
Right.
Don't take whatever AI says in response to you. Don't take that as, oh, this is it. Like, I can't do anything with this. No, that's where the conversation comes in.
Yeah, and the critical thinking, full circle moment, like major critical thinking. So I think yes to everything you said. So I'll say yes, and I think of it as going from abstract to concrete. So the more examples you can give is concrete. This is what I'm looking for. And think of, again, I'm going to keep using this analogy, but if a team member, they just joined your team and you said, go do X, Y, and Z, there's probably 10 different ways that can be considered done and great. But you were sitting on the exact example of the way your company does it. You would want to give them that example.
Totally.
And so it doesn't mean they did a bad job. It just means that you didn't give them enough context to make it concrete of like, this is what finished looks like. This is what the output looks like.
Which is no different, right, than what we should be doing for an actual team member.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is the project I want done. And this is what it looks like when it's done.
So I have been taking notes for a podcast episode coming up to be determined in name, but I am going to compare leading your team and the skill sets and how that overlaps with AI and how working with AI will make you a better leader. And I've been just subtly taking notes of my own experience and things like that my clients have experienced.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's look, if I get a little cranky with AI, like there's not real repercussions. And so I can practice getting clear and be a little frustrated and be like, okay, that's not how I want to show up. And you get to show up better for your team. Like that's real talk. Like that's practicing it out. Because when you said earlier about, having to get that detailed about what you want, we are just people. Like sometimes that is a frustrating experience. Like it's there. I can't articulate it. What are the words? And and so can you learn that way when you're explaining it to your team members, you're like, yeah, this is just how I communicate.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, as you were talking there, it reminded me like early on as, leading a team in my business, it's very easy to like blame somebody on their team if something gets messed up. You're like, why didn't you do this right? But then it's like, well, wait a minute. There's very likely, not all the time, right? But like very likely a system or a process breakdown.
Yes.
So it's like where like if we take responsibility as the CEO, as a leader, like where did I fail that person? In the system or the process. And it's the exact same thing when it comes to AI. It's all the stuff we've been talking about. It's like, ooh, I forgot to give it this information. Or like the workflow that I thought would deliver X, like, ooh, I missed a step that I forgot to tell it about. Well, it's not the AI's fault, it's your fault. I mean, nothing wrong, but like, okay, cool. Like we'll just correct it. We'll improve the process so it's better.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say too that as smart as we think AI is, it doesn't get it right. And I feel like it has bad days and good days. And I am objectively saying this because I can use the same detailed prompt and it'll go through all 12 steps. And then you use the same exact prompt and it starts skipping steps. And you're like, how could it be different? Like I didn't change anything in the prompt. And so the language that I use is, I'll say something like, you keep skipping steps and not asking for approval before moving forward. What in the prompt is not clear for you to ensure you stick to this? And sometimes it will have me rewrite a section of the prompt and say, you're right, it was in there, but I missed it. It wasn't like bolded, or it wasn't in the right place. And other times it's like, you're right, I'm sorry. Let me get back on track for you. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so it's literally, you can't assume that it knows better, which is a whole nother conversation I want to have
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah.
don't you think it's powerful in the confidence a business owner can have, as well as, like, you have to be confident in what you know and not assume AI is correct. And I think for some personalities, that might be actually a challenge with using AI, is that you're deferring it. Maybe a leader that defers to their team to just go do things will be the same leader that defers to AI. And I feel that if you are not able to push back and know that it's giving you something wrong or inaccurate or doesn't feel right for you, it's going to make a mess in your business.
Yeah. I mean, this is the big argument, right? Like, or maybe the fear is the better way to say it. Is like, this is the big fear that people think like, oh, AI is just going to take over all this stuff, right? Like, yes, you can let it go down whatever path if you're not specific with it.
Right.
But just like you said, it's our knowledge of what we want done, how we want it done. We can use it to come up with new ideas, or to maybe poke holes, if you will, in our theories or frameworks or thoughts or what have you. But it's still within, like, I love that word. I might have to steal that, Amber. Is like within the container, like that you give it.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, like it's kind of like, I don't know if they still have, I'm guessing they still have it in bowling alleys when young kids go, they have like the bumpers.
Yes.
So it's like keeping the ball from in the gutters.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, is where you're giving AI, like you're keeping it within the bumpers. And so what information do you need to give it in order to keep it within the bumpers, if you will, of what you're looking to try to do?
Right.
And using it more so as a brainstorming partner, as an assistant, if you will, as, to poke holes, like I mentioned, in what you might be thinking as a brainstorming partner, thinking about it like that, but not letting it like, okay, I'm just going to go, I want you to do this. Like you just said with a person on your team, giving them very little direction or what you want done.
Yeah.
AI can do it, but it's probably not going to be what you want.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to be good for your business.
Right. And not very productive, just to bring it all home to my own brand, is that it can take you on, we're talking about shiny objects. We agree AI is not a shiny object. It is definitely a business tool worth learning. But you can get into these loops of, like, you pick your head up and you're like, how did this much time go by? If you're not really clear, what am I here for? What are we having the conversation about? What is the output? I wanted to just add one more thing in my experience that I thought AI has been good for. And it's like the heavy lifting of analyzing data and information. Like, I didn't have that capacity in my business or small business to be able to archive 300 plus episodes, see the trends, look at the numbers, see the through thread. Like, I'm just in the beginning stages of leveraging all my solo episodes. And I would have only dreamt of being able to use the breadth of my work in some bigger way. And now it's possible, because it can analyze it, it can splice it, it can do so many things with it. And so that's actually what I'm excited about getting to, right? Is like, okay, we're not doing that now. Let's handle like regular operations. But like, that would not have been accessible to a small business owner to do or show up in those ways.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the ability and like take a simple screenshot of something in your business, like stats or what have you, or even if you're like, I have all this information, but I'm not sure what to do with it, or I'm not sure how I could leverage it. Ask AI. I mean, I have the scorecard in my business, right? So I can't, and it's in a Google Sheet. I mean, Google Sheets has built-in analysis now, but I could, one way, there's many different ways to do it, but I could take a screenshot of it, put it into ChatGPT, and ask it to analyze anything that's on the scorecard and ask it for recommendations on what to do, or why do you think this is happening? Or How can I increase this or whatever it might be. I did a post in the community with, what was the title? It's like how to create $100,000 business analyst like
Yes.
role for your business, right?
And you also did one for a $200,000 CMO.
Yes, a COO is coming next.
Okay. Yes.
So, but it's like looking at it and saying like, oh, okay, well, I didn't realize that it could do these types of things and it's really good at these types of things. Cool. Let's look at our P&L, right? Let's put the P&L in there and ask it to analyze it and say, oh, our profit margin is X. I want to increase it by 15%. What are 5 recommendations that you can give me to do that?
That's great.
It.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I want to talk a little bit about your community. So you created a community and business owners can join. I'm in there. I can just share a few things about like what I've gotten out of it is it's so much really, but to be able to see what people are up to. And again, for someone that wants to stay focused, right? And I've got my parking lot, it's really helpful to fill that parking lot and I'll get to it. But it has helped, even if I'm not taking action on everything, because there's so many great ideas, it's giving me ideas to integrate in what's right in front of me. Like the project that I'm working on now, that has been really inspiring to see like what's going on in there for sure.
That's cool to hear because that's actually a direction that we're I don't want to say shifting, but we're trying to shine more light on because I hear that feedback quite a bit from people. It's like, because it's often when it comes to AI, it's like, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So it's kind of like we were just talking about. It's like, somebody listening right now is like, I had no idea. What if it could do this, And it's those types of things that so many people get great. And I'm the same way. I'm like, I didn't realize, like, that's a great idea. And so just within the community itself, shining more light on the amazing use cases, as I like to call them, that people are doing with it so that other people can get ideas from it and be like, I can take that, tweak it a little bit for my business. And like, it opens up, whatever, or saves me 5 hours a week or something like that.
Yeah. And then if someone were to join, you have a get started, like here, get started.
Yep.
Here's some fundamentals. And then after the fundamentals, you have calls, you have trainings, you have, you seem to be rolling a lot out actually. I'll let you share some of that, but it seems like you're rolling out a lot of like, use this, like here, I created this for you to use in your business type of thing. So when you share a little bit about what they can find inside the membership.
Just this morning, I'm just smiling because just this morning, the day that we're recording this, we've been working on it for a while. So we released we're calling it basically a resource hub. So AI done for you AI workflows and agents. So we've built them for you, and when people come in, they can just use them. Like they don't have to like click a link and go somewhere else. It's like all right there within a Notion site that we built to coincide with the community. And so I don't know if somebody wants to figure out where's the bottleneck in my business. Well, there's a workflow for that. And you answer a few questions, and right within the Notion site that we've created, you'll get the answer and an action plan and stuff like that. So we're really trying to take away that overwhelm for people, help people get started. Like, all right, this is where, this is what to focus on first. Here are like the fundamental things like terms and stuff like that. And then let's not delay getting benefit from this, which is why we're building so much just done for you plug and play stuff that people can use. And then for the, for if somebody's more advanced, then it's like, okay, here's how to be thinking about things on like the next level as well. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to reduce that overwhelm and see results with AI as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I loved that it is self-paced, that it's not the pressure of like, take this, you're behind if you don't, take this class.
Yeah.
And so it's self-paced. You can go in there and figure out with what your focus is and your priorities, what do you need support on? And there's lots of shiny objects you can put on your parking lot because we're going to give good business advice of, you want to make sure you get these projects to the finish line. Some of the things that we're integrating in the business, I thought were going to be just like that. But I had to remember I was on a learning curve, and now I'm popping them out because I've gotten to a certain point, but it took a little while to get there. Yeah. Anyways, I've really enjoyed it. We're going to share all the information and how they can join and get access to your membership in the show notes for sure. Is there anything else you'd like to leave our listeners with today on, just go get it, get in there, do the thing?
Yeah, that really is the big thing. Like, just kind of reiterating the 2 points, or two of the points that we were talking about, is like, you're not behind. It may seem like it because maybe other people, you've got peers or colleagues or friends talking about it all the time. You're not behind. It is still so early.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you're not currently using it, just start using. I would say, if you're going to pick one to start out with, pick ChatGPT, do the paid plan, $20 a month, and just start playing around with it. And like anything, try to be consistent with it. Set aside 20 minutes a day or what have you, if you're able to. Start playing with it and see, the different types of things that you can do with it. And then by doing that, it's going to unlock so many other ideas, how you can use it specifically for your business or your personal life. Like, you want to plan a vacation or what have you. Cool. It can do that. But just be consistent with it, play around with it, and that's going to unlock so many ideas for you.
I think that that's great. I will say that the experience is there may be resistance. So if we're talking to you and there's resistance, and you're like, oh, just do 20 minutes. Then I'm going to come back and say, just do 20 minutes. You're going to get started. And you're going to be like 2 hours into it. And you're like, how did Amber give you this recommendation to get so distracted? You just have to get over that hump. And then your new challenge is going to be, we're going to theme the whole episode. How do you stay in those guardrails of 20 minutes, 30 minutes so you can get back to the other work? Because it can get, as you can hear Rick and I talking, exciting. The ideas could just spark more energy into your business. You can use your team in different ways. So I think, not to start a whole nother conversation, but for a lot of business owners and team members, I think AI is going to, make their team unnecessary. And maybe that is true. I don't know every business in every scenario. I just want to speak to this for my team. It is leveraging them to be able to stay in their sweet spot and do more in the same role. Not that I'm trying to get rid of any team member at all. It was like, hey, how can we actually increase the ROI for each team member using AI?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I mean, the reality is like, yes, AI will remove the need for some roles depending on what they are in businesses. I mean, again, that's just the reality of it. But for the roles that, again, it's the businesses who are not embracing AI that will be left behind. So why not embrace it? And just like you're just talking about, Amber, it's like, all right, how can we use AI and how can we teach our team to leverage AI so that we can get a higher ROI out of what it is that they're doing? Like, those are the businesses that are going to be winning.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great place to end. Can you share with our listeners how they can find you and connect with you?
Yeah, in addition to the community, the YouTube channel, I publish almost weekly. Just search Rick Mulready on the YouTube. The website is rickmulready.com. And I do, I do a very meaty newsletter every Sunday morning called the AI Playbook. And we do use cases in there, share ideas, and share relevant news, not just like, here's the next AI robot that will bring me coffee. Although I want one of those, it's not super relevant all the time for entrepreneurs.
AI might not be bringing you coffee, but I'm drinking coffee on Sunday when I'm reading your newsletter. You just upgraded it, revamped it a little bit. So I'll give you some good feedback. I was like, I actually do like this flow. So good job on the update this week.
Nice. Thank you. So those are the best ways to connect.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Rick, for sharing your expertise and having a resource for business owners to dive into AI and not get left behind.
Thanks.
I have loved having you listen to this episode of the Small Business Straight Talk podcast. And I sure hope you found today's conversation with Rick to be valuable. Man, I sure enjoyed the conversation, and I hope you did too. But I need to be straight with you. No change, no change. Without taking action, nothing will change for you or your business. Before we close out, I know today's conversation was really about how to leverage AI to grow your business, but I have to share a little bit of a story or testimonial about how impactful AI has been in my personal life. And this is just one quick example. I know that you heard me talking about this in my Buckets podcast recently of using AI. I have truly transformed the way I think of always thinking AI first. Like, how can I leverage AI to help me solve any type of challenge that I'm having in my business or in my personal life? And by being a member of Rick's community, someone in that community shared an incredible chat GBT. And that GBT was around health, and it was about functional medicine, natural health, and you were able to go ask it questions. And the person that had created it based on a lot of really popular books of functional medicine doctors that I have already read their books and I already followed. My son got sick in February of this year. And in the last 6 months, he's been to countless doctors, to which they just kept telling me over and over nothing was wrong. And without getting into all the details, Mama Bear came out and I just kept pushing. If you're a parent, you know when your kid's not right. And it was like a light switch from when he got sick in February. And while he got better from that episode, he was never the same. So I went to AI and I put in all the symptoms that I was observing with my son. And AI kicked back a checklist and a letter. It asked me if I wanted a letter requesting this list of blood work to be done and tests. I took it to his doctor and I said, I have done research. I want these tests run on my son. There's something wrong. While you keep telling me it's viral, his body's healing, he'll be fine, I know that there's something wrong. Well, he was diagnosed with a bacterial infection that he had been dealing with for 5 months up to that point. And it was because AI had on the list a specific strain of bacterial testing to be done. My own brain, my own experience, my life experiences, the resources I had available, the doctors we had gone to, did not pick that up. And while AI is not diagnosing my son, AI listened to all the symptoms and said, hey, I think you should go get him tested for these things. Now, the list was extensive, but rightfully so. We were trying to rule out a lot of things. And because of that experience of using AI, my son is now on a path to healing and also validated. He had been struggling for many, many months without us really knowing what was going on and being told there was nothing wrong by our doctors. I just felt from my heart to yours to share with you, while we talk a lot of business, we always talk a lot of personal on the podcast. And AI, whether you are ready for it or not, is changing our lives. It's changing our businesses. And if you would have asked me back in October, I remember talking to Luann Nigera at High Point Market, for those of you that know Luann. And she was telling me all about her experience using AI. And I'm like, holy cow, like I am behind the ball here. Like I really need to figure this out. Like the things she's sharing with me, I didn't even know were possible. And I decided that that was the time when I came back that I was going to learn AI. And I have shared other episodes. We will link those into the show notes. I actually shared my own AI journey and like how I approached it and what my methodology is. So if you have not already listened to that episode, we will put that in the show notes, or you can go to amberdelagarza.com/podcast and search AI, and all of our episodes about AI will come up. And when this happened, my husband looked at me and said, I believe you chose to learn AI to help our son. Like, had I not actually learned AI and felt comfortable with it, I would have not even known that that was a possible resource to help my son. And this is not a sales pitch. While I knew AI and I've been learning it, I would not have had that resource that came across my screen without being in the AI Playbook community. It was a member in that community that was gracious enough to share something that he had created and I giving us access to it so that it could help our lives. So AI is here to stay. I encourage you to just get curious about it. Don't let it intimidate you. It doesn't need to be all encumbersome, and you're definitely not behind. You heard Rick say this. I said it. You are not behind. While that was my initial thought when I talked to Luann in High Point, that is not true. Like, that was a thought that was not helpful to my adoption of AI. And I'm telling you now, you are not behind. Now is the time to get curious, to play with it, and lean into it. So, without saying much more, I will just tell you that if you are ready to get started or you're ready to take your AI implementation and experience to the next level, I would love for you to join me inside Rick's community. And you can find out more and learn more about the program and community by heading on over to amberdelagarza.com/AI Playbook. If you join us in the community, be sure to message me inside the community so that we can connect. I would love to connect with you inside there. So that's my straight talk for today. Until next time, have a productive week.